Guys, so it's me, Alexis. Welcome to my astrology channel, and today I'm going to be talking about the moon in Cancer. So before I go ahead and talk about the moon in Cancer, I'm going to go ahead and kind of do my obligatory-ish social media stuff. So I do have a Twitter account and a Tumblr account if you guys are curious, and if you guys want to get some services from me, I do offer astrology readings, and I just made a Patreon. Let's go ahead and talk about the moon in Cancer. Now, before I go ahead and talk about the moon in Cancer, I'm just gonna say right now that I love the moon in Cancer. If you have a moon in Cancer, I will probably love you a lot. So, before you guys tell me that I'm biased and that I'm only gonna say good things about the moon in Cancer and that you should not believe me, do believe me, because I am not going to be shy when it comes to criticizing this placement. I do have a boyfriend of almost 3 years and he is a Cancer moon, but at the same time I've had a very close friend who became an ex-friend who also has a Cancer moon. So lots of important Cancer moon people for me. When your moon is in Cancer, it's kind of cool because, like, you know, the moon's over here with her agenda and it kind of lines up with like Cancer over here. So in my last video about the moon in Scorpio, I talked about how the moon falls in Scorpio and I kind of illustrated it with like objectives and stuff. Now with Cancer, it works out pretty nicely. Not as nicely as Taurus since the moon is exalted in Taurus, but works out pretty nicely in Cancer because the moon's over here like, I want to be comfortable by gathering what is familiar to me, and Cancer is like, hey, I like familiarity and I like comfort, so yeah, I totally agree with this. So therefore you have the nice moon in Cancer placement. And how this actually manifests in people is that you have really cool people who really know how to feel their feelings. And you may think like, what do you mean? Like, shouldn't everyone like know how to feel their feelings? No, it's actually very hard to feel your feelings, you know, for the way they are. Like, it's not as simple as just being sad and just moving on. Well, for a moon in Cancer, like, you know, you be sad, then you become present in your sadness, and then you move on. But like, most people do not know how to handle their emotions very carefully. They don't know how to handle their emotional reactions in a healthy way. For example, some people, they will try to suppress their emotions completely. For example, moon in Capricorn. Some moon signs will try to find reason with it. They'll try to define it, try to make it make sense to people, try to make it useful. That's moon in Virgo and moon in air signs. But the moon in Cancer, what they do that the other moon signs can't do is be present. Now, okay, wait. Before I say that, every moon sign has the potential to be healthy in their own unique way when it comes to expressing their emotions. But the moon in Cancer, they're really good at being present in their emotions. Like here's the moon in here's the moon in Cancer person. Here's the emotion. They feel the emotion, and then it leaves, and then they're okay again. With other people, like, you know, this is like, think of yourself as this little circle, and then, you know, the emotion comes in, you know, people try to put it down or they try to make it useful. Like, they just don't let the emotion pass. They don't just let the emotion just be an emotion. The moon in Cancer is really good at accepting their emotions for the way they are, and that's really important, because if you accept your emotions, you accept your needs, you accept what grabs your attention. And due to that, you know, a lot of people would say that the moon in Cancer is sensitive, and I would agree, but I totally do not agree with the negative connotations that are, you know, with the word sensitive. When you're sensitive, you can definitely know what the hell is wrong when you're hurt. When a Cancer moon is hurt, they know exactly why they are hurt. Because why? They are sensitive. They can detect what hurts them. When you're not sensitive, when you refuse to be sensitive, when you refuse to feel your feelings the way they are, the next time you're hurt by something, you're just gonna be like, I'm hurt and I don't know why. And that's because you chose not to be present. And the moon in Cancer can do a really great job teaching people that principle. The reason why I'm so passionate about this is because I struggle with this. As a moon in Libra, I always try to shape my emotions in such a way where people wouldn't think that I'm a burden. Like if I'm sad, I'll try to stop crying or cry in such a way where I don't look too unappealing to look at. But like my Cancer moon boyfriend over here is just kind of like, let it out loud. Cry girl, cry. And I'm just like, how? it's difficult. That's why I always, admire a Cancer moon for just being present with your emotions, because society, does not teach us that. Now, on to my criticism of the moon in Cancer. Now, while the Cancer moon is really great at, being present with their emotions, they're fighting against the harshness of reality, because sometimes people do not have the luxury and the time to be present with their emotions, whether it be, working a lot of hours at work, or, doing a lot of school, or just having a big struggle. And sometimes, we don't have the time to be present in our emotions sometimes, and all we can do is try our best to manage it. So at their worst, a moon in Cancer can kind of struggle to understand that the world is not that great of a place. The world is not their home, and sometimes the moon in Cancer needs to realize that not everything is going to be familiar. Not everything is gonna, cater to them. The world will not care about them sometimes. Like, unfortunately, like, this is something that the moon in Cancer has to understand, but like, not every place is home. And for the moon in Cancer, to expect home everywhere they go, to expect everyone to nurture them the way that they nurture them, the moon in Cancer needs to understand that, like, just because they nurture so well doesn't mean that everyone else will nurture as well as they will. It's a struggle there, and I want to go ahead and like transition that to, having parents as a Cancer moon. So the moon kind of talks about your nurturing parent, and when your moon is in Cancer, your nurturing parent will be really great at nurturing. However, sometimes this nurturing can go too far to where it's very suffocating. The moon in Cancer parent will try to make things comfortable, but sometimes it goes to the point where it's very restricting. It's too safe. At their worst, a Cancer moon parent will not encourage you to grow and go out of the comfort zone. At their worst, the Cancer moon parent will make you expect to find home everywhere you go. It'd be nice, but that's not reality. When people think about the moon in Cancer parent, like they tend to expect like, oh, the moon rules over Cancer? Cool, that means that the moon in Cancer parent is gonna be amazing. That's not gonna be the reality for some people here. Like, some people here will have a moon in Cancer and they won't have a good relationship with their moon in Cancer parent, because the worst thing a moon in Cancer parent can do to their child is not let them go after their dreams, not let them feel, the pain, because apparently they don't agree with the statement that whatever doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Man, I'm like realizing that I look super stripey right now, and I don't know if it's a good thing or not, but I'm just gonna the moon in Cancer, since they're sensitive, it is imperative that they handle their emotions healthily. You know how I said earlier how a Cancer moon is really good at being present in their emotions? There are times where a Cancer moon will not always be present in their emotions. Sometimes they have to, keep their emotions down. Sometimes they have to, make sense of it, whatever situation it may be. But when a Cancer moon does not, accept their emotions for the way they are, it really does strongly affect them. When a Cancer moon does not accept an emotion for the way it is, the emotion will kind of, go under them. It will be suppressed in their being, and, it will fester. It will stay in there. It will stir. It will, it'll just be in there. And, for the Cancer, like, Cancer is really good at, keeping what is familiar. And the longer you keep that negative emotion in there, the harder it will be to let it go. And that's why a lot of people would argue that, like, Cancers hold a lot of grudges, because, like, they just cling onto whatever they know. And if that thing just happens to be anger, that's basically what a grudge is. It's important for a Cancer moon to also learn how to let go. Because when a Cancer moon expects everything to be familiar, in a sense, that's kind of a Cancer moon's way of trying to control the world. And as we all know, we can't control everything. Speaking of comfort, the moon in Cancer needs to learn how to healthily handle and assign comfort. Because if you think about it, you can be comfortable with anything, and that should be a little bit scary, especially for a Cancer moon. So like, for example, like if you assign comfort to like watching Netflix in bed, yeah, that's totally fine. But like, what happens when like you get really into Netflix and like you don't do your homework and you don't go to your job and stuff like that? The moon in Cancer needs to be really careful on where they assign their comfort, because if that comfort is not good for them, it's not gonna be good in the long run. Think of it this way. Like, if you assign your comfort on spending money, imagine on what your wallet is gonna look like due to you trying to be comfortable. The moon in Cancer then would have to find a place where, you know, they can find infinite comfort whenever they want. And that's probably the quest for most Cancers in general. And I mean, personally for me, like from a philosophical perspective, I would say that the moon in Cancer would do really well when they find their sense of comfort in themselves and in being healthy and in reinforcing healthy behavior. It is very imperative to know how you're going to handle your emotions, how you're going to handle your comfort, and where you're going to find your comfort. The where is pretty important, because if you assign comfort into the wrong place, everything else will not carry on as well. So that's pretty much it about the moon in Cancer. So if your favorite moon sign or your moon sign is not covered yet, I will be putting a poll on Twitter after this video, so look out for that. I hope you guys learned a little bit more about the moon in Cancer and what it's all about. It's a beautiful placement with flaws, of course, but hey, flaws are beautiful. Thank you guys for coming, and see you guys next week. I don't know. See you guys whenever.